Hello guys, this is Svetlana from Kamui Cosplay, and today I wanted to talk about what happens if you have a cosplay burnout, if you really want to craft but don't really find the will for that, if you have an artist block. So today I wanted to give you 10 tips how to find cosplay motivation. Maybe you thought you're the only one who just don't find any motivation, but I can tell you every artist feels the same. I mean, look at me. I could be now downstairs playing Final Fantasy XIV and prepare for the next expansion, but I thought it's time for a new video, so I'm here and doing the video for you. But since cosplay became a job for me and I'm basically kind of forced to create constantly new content, I thought I'm also sharing my personal tips with you how to get back to crafting and do other stuff. At this point, keep in mind that cosplay is about you having fun and you should only cosplay for yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. Nobody expects from you to bring 5, 10 or 20 costumes. It's totally fine to do some casual costumes or something small or whatever you enjoy more. It's about you having fun. It's your hobby and your time, your money. Don't see it as a job or an obligation. Just cosplay your way and have fun. And this brings me to point number 1. Take a break. So since I turned my hobby into a business, I constantly feel the pressure to create something new, post on social media every day, and write books and create patterns and make new costumes. And this is sometimes really, I need to take a break. So yes, I also take a break and played a little bit of Assassin's Creed and played Cassandra, banked pretty much everything around me, and everything I didn't bank, I killed. So, and that's totally fine because I found plenty of new inspiration for new costumes and I get back to work and was super excited because sometimes when you stay too long away from your crafting room, you have to go back at some point. Once you get back, you have more energy and are super motivated, and that's totally great. So take a break for 1 week or for 1 month or even a year and then go back and create something even more amazing. Number 2, go to a convention without a costume. So I'm cosplaying already since 2003 and also visiting conventions since 2003. And this means since 2003 I'm wearing costumes and cannot go to the restroom, cannot eat anything, cannot drink anything. I'm too cold, I'm too warm, everything is uncomfortable, I cannot move myself, I cannot see anything. And I also even had cons where I passed out, didn't went to the restroom for 12 hours. And it was always fun, but at some point it's kind of nice to be just comfortable. But okay, yes, when you appear at a con out of costume, people are look at her, blasphemy, put something on her, put a costume on her, what is this? Oh my god. But at the other side, you're comfy and can enjoy the convention and see everything without getting stopped for photos all the time. So even though I really enjoy crafting, I just enjoy much more to wear my costumes at once for a photo shoot and then get some nice pictures and then let the costume at home and enjoy the con just by myself with my costume being at home, and that's good. One example, I went actually to BlizzCon already several times and I always wear a costume there. And while it was great to meet all my cosplay friends, to get some nice photos, I barely saw anything of the convention because I was constantly stopped and I was busy and everything, and the ticket is actually really expensive. So one day I wasn't able to finish my costume in time, so I was forced to go the very first time casual, and this was actually my best BlizzCon ever because I was finally able to see anything of the programming. I was able to talk with all my friends without getting interrupted the whole time. It was the very first time I bought anything there, and yeah, I had in general a great time. So if you're tired of going to cons in costume, I highly recommend to go once casual and see the other side of the convention. Number 3, do something you always wanted to do but never had time because you were doing cosplay. As a cosplayer, you probably put a lot of time into creating your costumes. Like you have to do sewing and installing LEDs, building props, selling wigs and everything. But sometimes you have like this little idea in your head you would like to do, like maybe reading a book or playing a video game or just try out something else. But like you still have to finish your costume. But slowly you lose your focus and like you become more and more distracted and you actually start working slower and become less productive. So sometimes it's actually quite a good idea just to do this one thing you really want to do. And for example, I sometimes really have a spontaneous idea for a video, for a book or a pattern, and then I just cancel everything to this one thing and then I get it out of my head and then keep on crafting. And this leads me to number 4. Start a new project or finish an old one. So if you follow me on social media, you saw me working on Reika from Guns, on Taki from Soul Calibur, on Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, and I also still have my unfinished Crusader. And people are asking me, hey, when are you finishing Reika? When are you finishing Taki or Aloy? And all I can say is, I cannot wait to start with my new Monster Hunter costume. Creating a costume takes sometimes weeks and months, and you often do the same step again and again, and you simply don't feel as excited and motivated anymore as you were at the beginning. So for me personally, it helps a lot to work at several projects at the same time and basically jump between them and do always something new. Nova, for example, the costume I didn't finish for BlizzCon, I took a break of 2 years once I got back from the event, and people kept on asking me, when will you finish Nova? When is it done? And I was simply not in the mood. But 2 years later, I learned plenty of new techniques and experimented with new materials, and suddenly I was super excited to try them out on Nova and finish the costume, and was just as excited as I was before when I started with the project. Number 5. Remind yourself why you started. Sometimes if you work for a really long time on a costume, you might kind of forget why you actually picked this specific project and maybe lose motivation and track of that. So it actually helps a lot to go back to the roots and find the initial spark of your project. So read the comic or the manga or watch the movie or like play the game where you actually find the idea for your costume. For me, for example, I worked a lot on Aloy, the Shadow Stalwart armor, and at some point, like I had plenty of projects in between, and at some point I wondered like, why was that so exciting again? So I actually started playing the game again and became super excited again. And yeah, once I got through it, I wanted to finish my current Aloy project super duper fast, just so I can start with a new Aloy, because I was so excited again. And that's the reason why I'm not playing Monster Hunter World right now, and I'm also very scared of the expansion, because I have like 5 costumes to finish, and I think if I'm getting back, I will cancel all of them and start with a new Monster Hunter project. Number 6. Follow other artists. If you start with a project, it might be sometimes really hard to figure out a specific solution for a costume piece. So it actually helps a lot to follow other artists and specifically search for people who are doing maybe something similar or even the same costume as you planned. So I actually follow 425 people on Instagram, and also while I was working on Nergigante, my friend Kimpatsu also worked on a version of Nergigante. It was just super inspiring to see how she managed things and what she used, and so I used it also for my own project. Or also my friend Jessica Nigri, she really inspired me with her barbarian armor from Breath of the Wild, and I'm also really excited to do this project one day. So sometimes it really helps to follow other artists and like get some extra inspiration from them. Also, don't compare yourself with others. It's not about creating the best costume or like winning any costume competitions. It's about you having fun. And all these people, they uploading their content to help you and to inspire you. I absolutely love when people cosplay the same costumes as I did before. Like, I saw so many people doing their Gigante or Cena or Alloy based on my tutorials, and it's really, really cool. And I also follow other people and get inspired by them. Number 7, cosplay with friends and family. Instead of cosplaying alone, it's so much more fun to cosplay with your friends or your family members, or like maybe your kids or parents, and it just makes the whole experience much more exciting. For example, I cosplayed for many years with my partner Svetlana, and we both did plenty of World of Warcraft costumes and also went to conventions together. Also, my lovely husband Benny, he also works with me on plenty of costumes, helps me painting or doing 3D stuff, or just do all the things I don't really have time for. Or maybe you can get your dad into teaching you how to solder or building props, or maybe your mom can help you sewing, or maybe you can create some cool costumes for kids and go to convention. And this makes the whole thing like so exciting, and like you have somebody you can talk with and just have much more fun together. If you don't have any close friends or family members you can cosplay with, a great place I can recommend you is the Kamui Cosplay community group on Facebook. You find a link in the video description below. We already have 10,000 members, and they are all super helpful, super crafty, and super inspiring. And it's just a general great place to find help or inspiration, or even some new friends. Number 8, start something small. When you start with a costume, it can be really intimidating because you think like, oh my god, I have to build like a breastplate and helmet and armor and shoulder and a weapon and like all the things, and like, so it actually helps a lot to start with something small of the whole costume, like maybe with a weapon or like bracer, for example. And especially a bracer is already a great little project at the beginning because it's really easy to craft. You don't need a lot of time and material for that. And I also made a tutorial, so check that out. Breaking down a huge project into tiny little pieces can be actually already super rewarding, and every time you finish something you become super proud of yourself and become really happy, and especially you're really motivated to do more things. So just keep on going, do like little steps and finish the whole costume at the very end. Number 9, try out a new material or technique. After my 2 years break and finally finishing Nova from Heroes of the Storm, I learned plenty of techniques, and especially how to install animated LEDs into anything. And with anything, I mean anything. So I was also quite obsessed with Monster Hunter and searched specifically for a costume which I could light up. I found Zinogre, which actually doesn't really light up, but it had to get some LEDs. So this was actually the reason why I made the whole costume, because it kind of light up in the game, and I was super motivated to add more lights into anything. And this was my motivation because I wanted to try something new. Well, and if you also like animated lights and fancy blinky stuff, just like me, I actually also wrote a book about animated lights in cosplay for LED strips and all kind of that. So I wrote a book with all the programming and everything, and you don't need any basic knowledge. And like, if you want to turn yourself into a fancy Christmas tree, get my book. It's good. Several years ago, I was working a lot with Wobbler. It's a thermoplastic material which you find in my older tutorials, and yeah, creating costumes with it didn't felt as exciting anymore because I simply, I didn't learn anything new anymore. I didn't make any mistakes, and every costume kind of wasn't really a challenge anymore. So because of that, I actually switched to EVA foam simply because I never worked with it before, and I wanted to fail again and like to try out new things again, and like just learn something new again, and like just working with something I never tried before simply felt really, really exciting again. And my final point, number 10, challenge yourself. As many of you know, when it comes to sewing, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm scared of my sewing machine. I have no idea which fabric to choose, and it takes me 8 hours to get a buttonhole correct. And yeah, I try a lot and like cry a lot and like take a break and like want to throw everything away. But at the same time, I will also learn something new. And when the costume is finally done after many fails, I'm super proud and really happy about the whole thing and like excited that maybe next time I won't fail that much anymore or I cry again. So what I want to tell you is don't be scared of challenges. Set yourself a goal, maybe finish a costume until the next convention, or try to make a casual costume in 3 days, or maybe in 1 week. Try out to airbrush something, get into 3D sculpting or into mold making and casting, something you never did before and something where you even have no idea where to start. Because even if you fail and even if it's really difficult, you will be super proud of yourself. And the whole learning process during this journey can be really exciting and super rewarding. And these were my top 10 points how to get back into crafting. If you have any other advices or ideas, let me know in the comments. I would love to read them. And as always, just keep on remembering yourself. It's about you and you having fun. And it's totally okay to fail, to take a break, not to finish a costume in time. At the end of the day, it's about you having fun and enjoy this wonderful hobby. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. As always, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and support us on Patreon if you want. So see you very soon. Bye bye. Du kleine Maus. Küsschen.